I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. I'ma keep winning, winning. You can try to save yourself, but you only
What's
go.
going on, guys? Jake here. I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be recapping the College Football National Championship for the first ever 12-team playoffs this year. Before we get into it, please make sure to like the video, comment down below anything you have to say about any of the takes, and make sure to subscribe to the channel for other football content, mostly NFL, going on into the NFL playoffs, free agency, the combine, and NFL draft. So, getting into this, it was the first ever 12-team playoffs. We had the 7 seed versus the 8 seed. Honestly, it kind of gave a chance for more of the powerhouses to kind of make a run. There wasn't as many upsets as people thought. Ohio State kind of was in the kind of no man's land after Michigan, but with the playoffs being advanced to 12 teams, it allowed them to be able to get a shot. Same thing with Notre Dame. The playoffs are kind of set up for them a little bit because, if they would have got the 5 seed, it's the best path. They ended up playing great games against Penn State, and they ended up being competitive here against Ohio State. Still got 2 minutes left in the game, but Ohio State pretty much just hit the dagger with Jeremiah Smith. So this game's about over. But in this game, Ohio State jumped off to a amazing start in the first half. Notre Dame obviously had that first drive where it really looked like, oh my God, Notre Dame might be able to do this. With Riley Leonard being able to get 12 carries, I believe, on that first drive. And he ended up having about 35 yards rushing just on the first drive alone. And they started out hot with 7-0, taking a 10-minute long, almost the entire first quarter. But after that, pretty much the second and third quarter, you can kind of pretty much tell that Ohio State pretty much is star power was just too much for Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a great defense, great secondary play. But the star power with the 3 receivers that they have and the 2 amazing running backs really showed out against Notre Dame and how effective it really is. I will say one of the biggest impacts of this game, I think, is what Will Howard played. He's definitely had some games where it was pretty head scratching that really cost him pretty much. That Michigan game, it was the offense was non-existent against Michigan, but in the playoffs, he's played really well and bounced back, especially in this Notre Dame game. He started out with his first 14 passes being completed, and he had a very good 231 and 2 touchdowns, along with the 60 yards on the ground that he had, which really did make an impact because they really Notre Dame with its man defense, they were pretty much able to not contain the quarterback, and when Howard was able to take advantage of that. But after they did come out to a big lead, I do think Notre Dame was able to cut it a little bit. I think Ohio State definitely in the fourth quarter called their offense at least very conservative, too conservative to the point where it almost cost them this football game. Notre it was able to let Notre Dame back into it. You were up 31-7, and you're pretty much just running the ball at the last quarter and a half of the game, and it really leads to issues where you're not able to get into the rhythm and they're not able to pretty much put first downs together. So this allows Notre Dame, who actually started to hit on some big plays in the late third quarter and the fourth quarter, to convert on 2 extra 2-point conversions and cut it to a 1-score game to almost pretty much scare Ohio State and them coming back until they pretty much hit that Jeremiah Smith long ball. I will give credit to Notre Dame. They made it a lot closer than what I thought. I had the final score. My prediction was 38-14. They definitely came out and didn't quit and kept fighting. They were able to really hit on some big plays. Obviously, Jaden Greathouse had a great game. They were pretty much the way Ohio State plays in their secondary. They play pretty aggressive, which leads to a lot of flags. And we definitely seen that. And then Greathouse was pretty much put in one-on-one coverage, and he was able to pretty much go out and make a play, whether it was on that slant or that deep ball, pretty much just over the top. And then also, you pretty much Jeremiah Smith was the huge impact because once Notre Dame had to sell out to stop the run with Will Howard, that's where they were pretty much able to beat them over top. I will say I was very disappointed in the Ohio State defense. I thought the Ohio State defense would play a lot better. I thought JT would have a bigger impact. He only had 1 sack. Jack Sawyer's not even on the stat sheet. I thought Jack Sawyer, the other edge rusher, who's going to be a very high NFL draft pick with both of them, I thought that they would get a lot more pressure, but they really struggled in this game. And they didn't have as much of the impact as I thought. I thought the Ohio State defense would have this huge impact stopping Leonard in the passing game. And honestly, I thought that they would have several turnovers, but Notre Dame did a great job of controlling the ball, and taking care of it to making sure that they had no turnovers. I think the only place that Notre Dame really messed up was in that fourth quarter with about 6-ish, 7, 8-ish minutes to go. They were down by 16 points, and for whatever reason, they decided to kick the field goal. And in that instance, down with 7 minutes left, down by 16 points, the odds are the field goal is not really going to do you that well. You pretty much, I know you're on the 10-yard line and you needed 10 yards to be able to score on a 4th and goal, but the field goal was not going to make a difference there. It was going to cut it down to 13 points. At that point, it's still a 2-possession game where you need 2 touchdowns. It's not like it's going to make it a touchdown and a field goal game. You need the 2 touchdowns, and you still need a 2-point conversion, even if you miss it, which they end up missing because he hits the left pole. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that Marcus Freeman made throughout this game, which, considering he's been very good with those situations, it was kind of shocking that he would end up going to that point and trying to kick the field goal instead of just going for it, especially with this kicker that struggled and missed several times throughout the year. But overall, Will Howard played great. The Ohio State defense was kind of disappointing, and Notre Dame didn't quit because Ohio State's kind of passing this in the fourth quarter kind of led to them being able to get back into this game. But overall, they ended up winning a national championship. Ryan Day saves his job. A lot of people thought he'd be on the hot seat, but some people even said the only way he can keep his job is to win a national championship. But he came out and he won the first ever 12-team playoffs, just like Ohio State won the first ever 14 playoffs with Urban Meyer in 2014. So it's been 10 years, 10, 11-ish years since they won their last title. Congrats to Ohio State and Ryan Day. If you want to keep up with other NFL content I'm going to be creating with the Combine, Draft, Free Agency, NFL playoffs, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, feel like John Moran. Need a triple-double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple. I don't drop the ball. Now I never fumble. I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Moran. Need a triple-double. Told him check the stats. Yeah, I got a couple.